And welcome back, everybody. We've got another wonderful holiday Christmas extravaganza type Rogue Actions ready to go for you all. First of all, if you don't know my name is Santa Shaka. Ho, 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 ho. And I've got my fellow collaborator here, Mr. Rambam. Welcome in, Ram. Happy holidays, sir. How's it going?
Oh, welcome. What's up, Shaka? Thank you for having me in Rogue Actions.
Not a problem, sir. Hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful Christmas morning. Happy holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that jazz that's happening. Apologies for Fritz back there. He's just really excited for Christmas, everybody. Guys, if you don't know the routine, you should know the routine. This is part 2 of Rogue Actions. If you missed part 1, you need to pause what you're doing right now, just like all the reindeer paws on the rooftop. And get back over to part 1 over on Ram's channel, guys. All of the information for that can be found down below. We've got a link in the video description for everybody, so you guys can get over there and check out part 1 of Rogue Actions. Some amazing, amazing content over there, guys. So, with that being said, we're going to continue part 2 here. And we're going to be talking a little bit here today, first and foremost, about Bo-Katan Mandalore, or I like calling her Mandabo, personally. It just sounds so lovable and cuddable, and let's be honest, who wouldn't love to cuddle a little bit with, Bo-Katan and such, right? How about you, Ram?
I would love to be in the sack with Katie Sackhoff.
I love it, sir. I love it. So we're going to be talking about Bo-Katan here, guys. You can see it's labeled Bo-Katrash. The reason for that is because there's been some rumors out there and some speculation and kind of general murmurs that she is a bit of a trash character. So, with that being said, we're going to do a segment here today, guys, called Making the Grade, where Ram and I give Bo-Katrash a rating, or a grade, if you will, on what she's like. With that being said,
Making the grade.
let's get it started, everybody. We're going to go ahead and pivot over to our screen cap here so that we can talk about Bo herself. Not that one. There we go. About Bo herself and a little bit about her kit so that we all know what in the world's going on with her. So first and foremost, she is an epic confrontation character. I think that's important to remember, everybody. Epic confrontation. So if we're comparing her to things, it's Gas, General Anakin Skywalker, and Malik. Now, I guess General Luke does not fit in that category, correct, Ram? I know he's tiered at the same level in terms of the journey guide, but he's not an epic confrontation, correct?
It's not an epic
That's what I
confrontation. There's
thought.
only 2. Well,
Yeah.
now there's 3.
Yeah, it's tiered the same way on the journey guide for any of you that are wondering about that, but it's not. He's not technically an epic confrontation. So, ideally, she should be on the same tier as those 2 characters. We're going to go over just a little bit of the basics of her kit here, guys. Her basic does not have an Omicron. It is pretty nice overall, in my opinion. It's got a Dispel on the basic, does physical and true damage, gives everybody speed up. So a pretty good basic. Darksaber Flourish, they're following along with the whole Darksaber concept where it inflicts armor shred. She does true damage again, etc., 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 etc. We're going to move on from that. It's pretty straightforward. Now, the next 3 things, the special, the leader, and the unique, all have Omicrons on them. And this is where she gets really powerful. So reinforcements have arrived. Basically what happens here is she calls all of her allies to assist twice. And then they do a certain amount of damage based upon a certain number of stacks of Ancestral Resolve, which we'll talk about more in a moment. Basically, Ancestral Resolve gives them a whole bunch of stats and offense as a result of the stacking stuff that they get here, guys. And they end up just really doing some serious damage. If you guys have seen any clips out there, when she does this, holy smokes, can they do some work. And that's, again, without Omicrons on her at the moment. We'll get back to that in a second. Way of the Mandalore, her leadership. Basically, with all of this stuff combined, she does a ton of offensive damage as the battle progresses, and they're really thick to start off with. The other nice thing is it allows everybody to do true damage throughout this whole process, and it allows tanks to pre-taunt. Again, with Omicrons, folks, with Omicrons. Unique for Mandalore, same idea, has an Omicron here. The damage basically becomes massively increased through her unique. It also reduces damage that everyone takes, including yourself, and gives out a massive amount of stats. Also, in GAC, again, Omicron, Bo becomes immune to daze. And here's the big thing, that if an ally is defeated for the first time, she gains 20% of their max health offense stack until the end of the battle. Basically, the way that this all works is she's going to be the last one to die, essentially. Kind of like Gas in the Gas Squad. And she's going to just stack up a mad amount of stats if you allow her to be the last one to die. Now, there's a lot of rumors out there that she is total trash. So, Ram, obviously, this is our first epic confrontation character that we have had that has omicrons, and her omicrons really have a huge impact on her overall value. And remember, they are GAC omicrons, everybody. So, Ram, I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on this character, on the release in general, and then what grade would you give this character? A, F? What are you thinking, sir? What are you thinking on your grade here, man?
So I mean, look, obviously it's Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff. Who doesn't love her, right? She's great.
She is.
As far as her kit, though, her kit is. I would have liked to see a little bit more outside of the Omicrons, right? So obviously the Omicrons take her to a whole different level, and that's great inside of GAC. I think that they could have taken some of those and put them outside of the Omicrons to make her better in other game modes. I think in like TW, right, you pair her with IG-12, she'll probably still be pretty contestable out there. But inside GAC is where she's really obviously going to shine,
Right.
and that's cool and all. I mean, her kit looks pretty fun, pretty solid. The dark saber, the true damage, all that stuff. Her leader looks really good. She's definitely probably going to replace Bam, I would say, pretty easily.
As a leader, yeah, definitely.
As a leader, like there's just, I don't see any comparison. A lot of people are running bounty hunters with Bam anyways to counter Lord Vader, so maybe this gives them an extra wiggle room for a different Mandalorian squad, so that might be beneficial too. Kit wise, I'd probably say with Omicrons included,
you could maybe even give 2 grades if you wanted to.
Okay,
with and without.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give her a GAC grade, in my opinion, and I'm gonna give her an every other game mode play. Right.
I like it. I like
inside GAC, A, solid A. Maybe an argument could be made for A plus, but A for sure, hands down. She's gonna be great in GAC. She's definitely gonna be a must-have character. You're gonna wanna, and she's gonna change your roster significantly if you have all the characters to go with it. Outside of GAC, well, and it'll depend on what Datacrons come out with her, but I would say probably a B minus. I'd say that her kit looks good, but if you took some of the things that were inside of the Omicrons and combined it with the rest of the kit outside the Omicron, that would make the kit a lot better, in my opinion. But I'll be interested to hear what you have to say on that one. I'd say 98% of these people probably are right that she's probably trash outside of GAC. But I'm gonna sit here and say I'm part of the 2% club.
Oh.
Part of the 2% club that just wants her to sit on my face. No, I'm joking.
I mean,
I had to throw that in there.
I feel like that number is probably higher than 2%, though, for being completely honest here.
It's definitely
200%. Like her defense.
Like her defense. I like it.
Yeah, for me, I'm obviously one of the 2%ers as well. But, so I feel like, again, CG has made a shift in how they approach things. Before Omicrons came out, individual characters could really play massively strong in multiple modes. And they've obviously made a shift to make it so that no one character outside of GLs can dominate in every mode. So the fact that this team isn't necessarily beating every GL outside of GAC, I don't think is really a problem. Like, Gas can't beat every GL in the game outside of GAC. He can't beat them all in GAC. So, like, I don't think that's an issue. And Gas by himself isn't terrible, but he's best with the rest of his squad. Bo-Katan here, or Mandabo, as I like to call her, is kind of the same thing. She actually reminds me a lot of Gas, which is ironic because Gas is kind of a hard counter to her. As soon as I saw this kit drop and read it, I knew immediately this is essentially the Bo that we see in Conquest, and her leadership with the whole Mandalorian squad. It's essentially the same thing. But the difference is that Bam really sends this team over the top in terms of damage with his whistling birds and all that stuff. But outside of GAC, this team will still destroy debuff heavy teams. Like, it's probably going to crush a Traya team. It beats Lord Vader. Like, I've seen videos of it beating Lord Vader outside of GAC. I know beating Lord Vader is not the biggest accomplishment in the world, but it's an epic confrontation character that can beat a GAC outside, or beat a GL outside of GAC. That's not trash. That's not a trash character. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all of you that are butthurt about this, but it's true. Like, at minimum, if she's beating GLs outside of GAC, I'm with you, man. It's got to be a B minus. I'm not opposed to a B minus. I actually would venture closer to a B than a B minus, but it's still in that same ballpark. Now, obviously, we haven't seen exactly what she can do in GAC yet because we don't have a GAC to test her yet. But given her kit and given how how it reads and everything, she's gonna be an A in my opinion, if not an A plus. Especially if you have those other key factors that go along with her team, like Bam at high relics. If you've got Paz, obviously you have to have Paz if you've got her unlocked. But like those characters are really gonna take her over the top. I'm with you, man. I think outside of GAC, she's still a B level character. And in GAC, she's probably going to be an A, if not A plus, once we see her up and running. Like, I will agree with you on the one thing here. I think there's some aspects of her kit that they relied too heavily on the Omicrons for. For instance, the whole when people get dazed and or can't gain turn meter, I think it's worded that they can't gain turn meter. They get a bonus turn in GAC. That I want to see that outside of GAC. I understand that that's a really powerful mechanic, but there are a lot of teams outside of GAC that I think shouldn't beat this team that will because of that mechanic. And that's one that I would like to see outside of just GAC. I'm just with you that I think they've become a little too reliant on Omicrons. I don't know, man. It sounds like we're both pretty much on the same page about this.
Well, yeah, like another part, right, that I would like to see outside of the GAC Amis, the whole, light side Mandalorian allies gain 50% mastery, max health, and 30 speed. You could put at least I'd say 30 speed, put that in the leader ability inherent, and then you gain an additional 30 speed with the Omicron. That would be different, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of teams nowadays, a lot of kits give you a speed boost.
Right.
She doesn't inherently outside of GAC, right? So you're already, and yes, she's still going to be powerful, but it's just small things like that. I'm like, yeah, I understand where you're going with the Omicrons, and it's good. Just move this up here and then include this in the Omicron, and you'd be great.
Right.
So,
yeah, I feel like
that.
Yeah, outside of so here's I think the complaint here. So we're putting her at B minus as an epic confrontation character. If we were to grade Gas and Malik, A, right, they're A characters, and that's not Omicron dependent. Like, she, in my opinion, should be the same thing. She should be an A character outside of GAC in all game modes as an epic confrontation character, and then A plus in GAC if you want to use the Omicrons. I think we're definitely on the same page on this. So is she trash? No. But I think that they've kind of lost sight of really what an epic confrontation character is. I think she's more aligned with like a journey character or a legendary character. Sorry, not a journey character. More along the lines of a legendary character, I would say. Like I would compare her to a CLS squad outside of GAC, probably something like that. I don't know. You agree? Disagree?
Oh yeah, 100% agree. So
Yeah.
So you'd give her a B for outside of GAC,
Right.
A inside GAC. I'd give her an A inside GAC and an F for
2%, baby.
I made a B.
2%. 2%. If you know, you know. All right. I like it, Rev. I like it. So, moving on, folks. This kind of transitions really well. Obviously, Bo-Katan's kit is very, very dependent on Omicrons. And that's going to move us on to our second topic here today, which is Omicrons themselves. And obviously, one of the big points of contention with her kit and her being an epic confrontation character is it relies too heavily on Omicrons. So, this is kind of a two-part question here, folks. The first part, are we getting to the point where we're relying too heavily on Omicrons with these new big, amazing characters? Or are we putting too much emphasis on the Omicron? Just kind of like what Ram had said. And then two, the second part of this question is, have we lost sight of the original intention of Omicrons? So for instance, when Omicrons first came out, the idea behind it was these are going to be used to lift a lot of the older characters that really have outdated kits without using an actual full, revamp of the character. And we've kind of lost sight of that, in my opinion, here with CG. You think about all the most recent Omicrons that have come out, it's mostly new characters, quite frankly. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this here as an example, folks. So we have, hold on a second. There we go. We have up on the screen a list of some of our we're going to obviously focus on Grand Arena here, folks, because this is what her particular Omicrons are. Grand Arena Omicrons on characters, and whether they're new or old, and what the most recent old character was. So obviously, Chirpa older, Qui-Gon older, Wampa older. It starts out great. Darth Treya older, Asajj older. But as we go down the list, you'll start to notice there's a pretty big shift. And then we start to get a lot of the newer characters. Iden, Starkiller. We've got some older ones here again. We've got Malgus. We've got Talon, Starkiller, Radis, Starkiller, Malgus. We got some older ones again. Chrysanthemum. As we get to the bottom of the list, it really gets out of control. Chrysanthemum, Rex, Solo, Marin, Solo. We've got Lumi, Afra, Zori. All of these new characters that have come out. And as we get to the very bottom, it literally is just new characters. It's all new characters. And all of these new characters, might I add, usually have 2 or 3 Omicrons versus the old characters only have 1. So the question, Ram, is A, have we become too reliant on Omicrons in general, especially with new character releases? And then B, have we just lost our way and totally forgotten to give the Omicrons to the old characters that need lifting? What are your thoughts on this, sir?
Oh, this has been an issue that I'm fairly certain myself and Heinze put out on Rogue Actions. If not, Heinze and Grid or Heinze and Cubs. And we've said this multiple times on so many streams. Omicrons are and were a really good addition to the game. And I'll stand by that. Anybody, I think, could agree that Omicrons were a very good addition to the game prior to Datacrons. Datacrons is almost what killed the game in a sense. It didn't kill the game, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like it Datacrons were divisive. Yes. Omicrons, I think everybody stood by and was like, you know what, this is good for the game, and it revitalizes things. CG is missing an opportunity, in my opinion, because you take, for instance, Galactic Republic, right? A faction that's near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, myself included, for obvious reasons. You take a faction like that, their bottom of that roster is just complete garbage. I mean, trash of the trash. You have characters like Eth Koth, who wasn't even good when droids were the meta. You've got I'm a Gundai, whose little purpose is just to die.
Yeah.
So things like that, these characters that people don't work on, people don't care about, and an easy fix for that, honestly, if you wanted to get people to wail on characters and build up your roster, which is what you should be doing, is to slap an Omicron on, let's say, Jedi Knight Guardian, or I'm a Gundai, or Eth Koth, or Kit Fisto, or Ayla Secure, or something like that. Put a Omicron on these guys, and that's going to make you want to say, you know what, let me take them up to a usable level,
right?
So that I can, which in turn, right, unless you have the material saved, probably going to have to spend a little bit if you want to get them up to a reasonable level. So now, now CG's making money, which, let's be honest, that's the motive of this entire game, right? That's the goal, right? So to do that would make more sense. Let's put 3 or 4 Amis on 3 or 4 different characters that are older that people don't gear up, and that people don't gear these up because you can see the statistics. Versus CG's current motive is, well, let's just release Kelleran Beck, who's a really good character, and let's apply Amis that could basically do the exact same thing of 3 or 4 different Amis to the rest of the Galactic Republic Jedi.
Right.
That's a bit of an issue, in my opinion. But I think counter argument to that is we don't have a way to really get Omicrons super quickly either. Right.
Correct. Yeah, that is a bit of an issue. Yes. You're not wrong.
So because we don't have a way to get a whole bunch of Omicron super quickly, like we do with Zetas, for instance, right? We get Zetas a lot quicker than we do in Omicron. The way that CG is currently doing it makes sense. Only doing one Omicron vice, revitalizing a whole bunch of smaller, older characters that people don't use, because you only getting one or two Omicrons at most a month, if that.
That's an interesting thought. That's kind of different than where I was going to go with that. So I do agree that we've lost focus on these old characters that could use a little bit of a bump up. But kind of where I was going to go with this, so with the Boke trash thing, in that she's too Omicron dependent in our opinions here. I don't like seeing 3 Omicrons on these new characters, even if they are an epic confrontation. Like, I would rather it, and I know they've kind of set the precedent, they're going to hold to that precedent at this point, but I think the better balance is, instead of having this one character that comes out and has the Omicron on it that totally revitalizes the entire faction, why can't we get a little bit of both? Like, so the new characters only have 2 Omicrons. Maybe the unique and the leadership if they're a leader, otherwise a special if they're not a leader. Take away one of those, and then give us some more of those Omicrons on these older characters that brings it back up. Obviously both methods will kind of get us to the same result, but I just feel like, again, the focus has become the newest, latest, greatest stuff, and we're neglecting the game as a whole because of that. I don't know. I get a little bit frustrated with that. I think that they tend to get pigeonholed in their vision with things like that. What's the newest way that we can get people to engage and make money from it? And they forget that they can, you can still make money from this old content if you revitalize it and make, like, look at Grievous as an example. When they did the rework on Grievous, people went bananas on that and probably invested a good bit of money into that because it's a character they loved. It suddenly became very relevant. Like, there's a lot of these older characters that I think could do the same thing. Mace Windu is another great example of that. When they started adding some of this stuff, people went crazy for him. He's a famous character. People love those characters. It's a beloved Star Wars character. They're going to want to invest in that more than they are Keller and Beck to make these other old characters good. I just think there's got to be, there's got to be kind of a little compromise there where you can still appease everyone's nostalgia, like you said, but still accomplish the same thing and get people to engage and spend money in the game. I just feel like they're kind of missing the boat on this a little bit. Obviously, it'd be nice to see more Omicrons in the game, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they need to better balance the release of Omicrons. I know that's, again, it's precedent. They're not going to change the whole 3 Omicrons per epic and legendary and all that stuff. It's just not going to happen. But I just feel like it's a missed opportunity for CG, if you will. So I don't know. What are you thinking, man? Am I right? Am I wrong? Where are you at?
No, 100% agree. I think that they should reevaluate. I don't know if they will, but they should reevaluate Omicrons and what their use and intent is for them. Not saying get rid of new characters completely, because that wouldn't make sense either.
Right.
But definitely revisit putting Omicrons on some older characters that don't get used, that would essentially change the faction for whatever game mode that you're putting an Omicron on for. It would change that game mode for the better and change your roster for the better.
Yeah.
Which is, again, the ultimate, goal of this game, is to have the best roster that you can.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Guys, let us know in comments. I'm interested to see what everybody's thoughts are on this, because I imagine there's a wide variety of thoughts on this. So one, obviously, folks, do you think Bo-Katan is the same grade level as what we gave it? Do you think we're relying too heavily on Omicrons for these newer characters? And then obviously, do you want to see more Omicrons on the older nostalgic characters that we know and love and want to see kind of come back to relevancy in the game? And if that's so, which ones do you guys want to see the most? Really intrigued to see what you guys have to say on this, guys, in the comments. Make sure you guys leave that comment down below. Last but not least, Ram, we're going to go ahead and pivot over to our Master of Memes competition, sir. One of my favorite things that we do here. So we take, folks, 2 memes from over on our Twitch channel /Discord. You guys can obviously check out all of that information down below in the description. And we have 2 memes face off over on our live streams on Friday nights. And then the winner of that gets a special role on Discord called the Master of Memes. And we shout them out both on stream over in Discord and, of course, here on the YouTube channel as well. So, Ram, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this and check out our Master of Memes matchup for the day. We've got kind of some Christmassy themed stuff here. We've got, first of all, I'd sing you a Christmas song, but I hate carols. Versus, and I know this one's not super Christmassy, but I know a lot of people are traveling at this time of year, guys. So this is kind of on point with the people that have got to do a lot of traveling for the holiday seasons. When you hear a baby crying on the plane, you're lucky Anakin didn't show up. Both solid memes, man. Both of these are really solid. What are you thinking, Ram? Which one do you like better, and which one would you crown as the master of meme here?
Man, that's hard because so one is Star Wars and one is Christmas themed, and it's like we're releasing this on Christmas Day. At the same time, like the Anakin youngling one is really funny, but I gotta go with the Carol.
The Carols.
I gotta go with that one. I think that one was just too right, it's too good, it's too on point, and you know, if you watch the show, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. So if you guys are not familiar, this is from a show called Tiger King. It was wildly popular on Netflix back. Was it during COVID or pre-COVID?
It was during COVID. It was
during
like
COVID. Yeah. It was during COVID. Everyone was obsessed with this show, and our main character here, the Tiger King, absolutely hates. I forget her last name now, but hated this Carol. Yeah, Carol Baskins absolutely hated Carol. So if you guys don't get the joke, that's what it is. He hates carols. Ram, for me, it's the same thing, man. It's too on point, and it's Christmas. Who, especially for me, I hate Christmas carols because we sing them from September all the way through the end of December. I can't stand them. So I'm on the same boat as you, sir. Let's see what the chat thought, guys. The winner is I'd sing you a Christmas song, but I hate carols, guys. We were on point, sir. Well done, man. Well done. Guys, this is courtesy of Jam Sandwiches, one of our absolute legends in the community, guys. Jam Sandwich has taken home the title of Master of Memes. Congrats, Jam. Hopefully, everyone loves this one and can appreciate the amazingness that it is. All right, guys. That's going to wrap us up for today. Like I said, guys, if you would like to submit a Master of Memes competition suggestion, make sure you guys get over to Discord and check it out. Put that all in our Master of Memes channel over there, and we will get you added to the list, guys. Last but not least, guys, Ram, I know you like it. I know you subscribe. But folks, if you are out there and you are not liking and subscribing, make sure you guys do that. If you like the video today, if you like Ram's video, make sure you guys get over there, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that jazz. Last but not least, everybody, have a Merry, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that jazz to all of you out there. Ram, any final parting words, sir?
I'm part of the 2% Club.
2% Club. Merry Christmas!